This is my audience. Hi. There we go. Now we have to do. Okay. I have pictures to show, but it doesn't do the whole screen when I record, so I'm just doing it like stop crying. So I'm louder. Okay. Have you ever felt like you don't belong in the world and you feel different? Well, I know I have, and so do a couple of Japanese people do too. These Japanese people form another type of culture called the Japanese Chicano culture. For those of you who don't know what Chicano means, Chicano is a word that Mexican Americans from Mexican descent parents call themselves to claim all heritage of Mexican descent. This this word came about in the 1960s when the Chicano movement had happened. The movement fought for voting and political rights similar to other movements at the time. It was also resembled ones that were not tailored to issues like farm workers and enhanced education. Dana Jones. The Japanese Chicano culture had adapted and learned from in their own way through their history, their community, their incorporation through their everyday life, and their inspiration of appreciation from the Chicano culture. I have researched previously many articles and watched many videos and done just basically a lot of research for my final research essay in my English 202 class last semester. I would like everyone to focus and take in on how cultures are adapting and accepting others into their own world no matter how different everyone is. I will be discussing on how the Japanese have adapted and learned from in their own way through history, their community, and their incorporation through everyday life. The Japanese have adapted and learned from in their own way through history. It all started with Junichi Shimodora, Junichi Shimodora, which shown here in this picture right here. He owns a car shop called Paradise Road. His first lowrider show was in 1983, and from there, the Japanese have imported magazines to Japan, and Japanese journalists would rewrite them in Japanese. From there, this Chicano culture for lowriders had blossomed. In the article, Japanese Chicano culture does not amount to appropriation. Author Jones points out that it seems like every oppressed group birthed a moment to fight for equality and advancement in the 1960s. One movement isn't talked about or studied enough in America is the Chicano movement. This Chicano culture has traveled across the Pacific from East LA to East Asia. They rewrote magazines in Japanese, and like I said before, it has blossomed since then. And they were not only interested in the lowrider scene, but also with the clothing, the art, music, and the liking of people and the Chicano culture in them. Throughout history, they have developed their own type of community. Japanese Chicanos have learned and adapted through their own community. The Chicano community was created in between 1960s and the 1970s. The main Chicano community that I will be focusing on for the Japanese Chicano community, is East Los Angeles. They have focused on a certain era from East Los Angeles Chicanos, which is the early 1990s. From there, from there, this has transcended overseas to Japan. In the article Chicano, a film about being Mexican in Japan, author Richard explains that the pro-indigenous slash mestizo nature of Chicano nationalism is cemented in the nature of Mexican nationality identity, in which the culture is heavily syncretic between indigenous and Spanish cultures. The word Chicano helps claim who they are, who I am, and this inspired Japanese. Because of their inspiration of the word Chicano, they incorporated the Chicano culture into their everyday lives. They saw fearless and pride in the Chicano culture, which they liked and they wanted to adapt. Being a male and female Japanese Chicano have their own interpretation of feeling what it is to be Japanese Chicano. Their incorporation through their everyday life is was by fashion, which they liked a certain type of fashion from the 1990s, which is old school gangster, the lowrider scene, which they got heavily involved in, and their music. Japanese also dabbled into the Chicano music. The Chicano film, Luis Ellison states that they would wear dicky short pants, high socks, Nike Cortez K-Swiss shoes, which was their main to-go outfit. Um, like in the picture shown here. They would also wear bandanas, tattoos, and Catholic crosses, which were called rosaries, and they incorporated this fashion style throughout their everyday life. Just like any other culture, they followed these trends and incorporated this into their life. In the article, How My Southeast LA Culture Got to Japan, author Thompson Hernandez states that a community with affinities for cars, outfit with intricate designs, and multicolored lights and heavily tinted windows that can be traced in Southern California to as far as back as the 1940s, and it has traveled to Japan. Since the lowriders were introduced to Japan in the 1980s, they started having shows and gatherings like they did in East LA. Junichi is well known for anything you need to know about Chicano culture. At his Paradise Road shop, he imports classic cars, repairs and restores in order to run on Japanese roads. I forgot to show this, but that's the Chicano art, and this is the music. And here is Junichi and his Paradise Road shop, and that's one of the old cars that he had to work on. In the article, watch a mini documentary about Japanese Chicanos. Author Vilga states that Shin Mayada, the owner of Barrio Gold, is a record label that distributes Chicano oldies and modern Chicano rap music. And this right here is Shin Mayada, the owner of Barrio Gold Records, for the modern Chicano rap music. Japanese Chicano artist named Mona, aka Sad Girl, this is Mona, aka Sad Girl, is a part of the Barrio Gold record label of modern Chicano rap music and sings old school jams in English, Spanish, and Japanese. She is the most popular Chicano artist in Japan with 4 albums out already. The Japanese Chicano culture is a culture that Japanese have adapted and learned from the Chicano culture in their own way. They have done this through history, their community, and their incorporation throughout their everyday life. Feeling different in a world like today is hard. Learning how to fit in is hard. And with this new culture that has adapted in Japan, called the Japanese Chicano culture, I believe is amazing. You do have some type of connection when cultures come together or are combined because no matter what culture you come from, there are times when society is pressuring you to be a certain way. And by being different, society takes it in the wrong way. Society should be taking in and letting people be themselves, just like the Japanese Chicano culture. Thank you.